So every week or now and then, I'm going to have a guest on the podcast, but one guest that may be frequent almost every week or every other week or so will actually be my wife. So we're going to hear from her a little bit about some relationship dynamics, and not only relationship dynamics, but just in general, how that fits into marriage and how productivity can fit into your life with your significant other.
And who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Welcome back to the Winter Arc Podcast. I'm your host, Grant Ace, and I'm here with a special guest, my wife, Gabby. Say hi, Gabby.
Hi, everybody.
So Gabby is obviously, as I said, my wife, but she's going to be a guest here on the podcast because I'm trying to get guests on the podcast in general. But I thought I would just start out with her because she's obviously a huge part of my life and a part of a lot of different things that inspire me, and more than she actually knows. And I just love her a lot. But the thing is that I really wanted her to come on the podcast and just talk about mindsets, because oftentimes we kind of associate productivity and motivation and those types of things with just entrepreneurs, just people who kind of have this business mindset and this investing mindset and just kind of like this quote unquote alpha male personality type thing. But I kind of wanted to talk about relationship dynamics when it comes to the way people think differently and how that can actually be a good thing. And so, Gabby, one of my first questions for you is, how do you see our relationship dynamic? So, for instance, one of the biggest things that I've noticed about our relationship is that I have this need or desire to want to create stuff, and that's part of the reason why, like, I'm an assistant broadcast engineer for the small TV station I work for, and that's part of the reason why, like, I started this podcast, and among other things that I've started. But Gabby, tell me a little bit about your mindset versus my mindset and how that kind of differs, like, in our marriage.
Well, I feel like it's like a healthy boundary, not having the same interests in that aspect, because I feel like if we had the same interests, we would just be in kind of like a competition with each other, because both Grant and I are very competitive with other things. So I feel like having different hobbies or different activities that we do is probably best. I feel like with us, with our mindset, and helping him in that aspect with his creativity, I feel like supporting him in the way by either getting him things for his audio, getting him things for video that he needs, equipment, helping find different ways that we can do that, helping find different people. For whenever we were in college, it was a huge part trying to find people, because nobody understands that when you're a video major, your main part of your grade comes from other people that you have to find for actors. So the big part of that part in our relationship was just finding people and actors, people that I was friends with in the education world, other people that I was friends with on campus. And we even went as far as finding a Facebook page that were people that were actors that have never acted in any big shot films or anything, but they needed to build their resume. And so they did it for free for Grant's short films to graduate college. So just like, I would say in my aspect with helping him with his dreams was to be supportive and to help in any way. Does that mean that I like staying up till 2-3 in the morning helping him film movies and film short films? No, it's really hard sometimes, but you do things for the people that you love. And in the same aspects, Grant's helped me many, many times and countless times with my homework assignments and with other things that I've done, and we just support each other in that aspect as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the old saying is true that opposites attract. And even though some people would say that we are kind of similar, I think we're different in a lot of ways.
We're very
I think,
different.
Yeah, and I think that actually helps us mold together in different ways. Like when it comes to, like, for instance, as you said, when you helped like strategically and kind of like as an administrative role in like my films and stuff like that. Not only administrative, very practically.
No, but just kind of like with my role in his films, we're making sure that everybody got there in time. Everybody had food, everybody had water, what time we were doing things from what time of the day, and organizing which actors and communicating with which actors and people that were helping him film what time they had to be there, what like different parts of the set, because they all didn't have to be there at 8 a.m. because they all weren't in that same scene. So just coordinating with people, because in that organizational part, that was more my strong suit.
Yeah, and I would say even in our daily lives, I'm not even some guys are weirdly prideful about this, I think. But I'm not, but I kind of want to talk about the fact that because of the mindset she has and because of the way that she's able to take the lead on very practical things and even just like obviously organizational things, like I'm not even ashamed to say that like even in our marriage, she's always been really good at budgeting our daily lives. And she like is the main one where it's like, okay, I'm asking her like, oh, what does our month look like? Like obviously like there are certain things that she'll have me like attend to when it comes to our budgeting and when it comes to like our bills or like retirement
like certain
or investing.
things that you have in your name and that you have to pay
exactly.
for. It'll be like, hey Grant, it's due this time.
Yeah, but like she's the one that's like staying on top of it, and she's the one that's actually managing the entire bank account that we have and stuff like that. And I think that's a blessing though, because guess what? I like, even though a lot of guys get prideful about it and they're like, oh, I need to be the man of the house and I need to manage this. And actually the ironic part about all that is that in ancient times, even in the Roman Empire and stuff, the women of the household actually managed the entire household. So that meant the finances, that meant what happened around the house, that meant every single thing, because oftentimes the men were actually like playing politics or, you know, writing philosophy, I guess. But
well, not only that though, but like, it's not that you're not included in it at all. We usually, every time I try to do the finances or anything like that, we meet at the table, we go over it, I show them our budget, what we have. This is how much we have for groceries. This is how much we have left at the end of the month. This is what bills are coming up. How much money should we put in our savings? Like, I don't just make the decisions by yourself, because I feel like if I made the decision by myself, that's like not hiding it from Grant, but I just feel like that's not keeping him when it's us. We're in the marriage together. It's not just my money, it's also his.
Exactly. And I think
that's why we have a joint bank account.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's the thing too. I'll touch on that briefly right after this comment. But the fact is like for instance, if budgeting was my strong suit, would I keep Gabby out of it? No. Because the whole thing is that we both have different talents, we both have different gifts, and so it's up to us to actually loop in the other person and be honest with each other about what's going on in life and what's going on in our realms of influence within the household and within just like our like small family now, before our daughter's born in February.
Well, yeah, we just help each other, because when I was like, obviously I'm pregnant. So like the last first trimester, I've been really sick and I had to take a different antibiotic that made me even more sick. But like, I didn't even have to ask Grant, and I shouldn't, but I didn't even have to ask Grant. And we made a chore chart, which he's talked about in his other podcasts. He just picked up my chores and his chores, and he just like cleaned and did everything. And I came home from work and I'm already feeling like crap from working and being sick. And I didn't even have to do anything because he did it all. It's just with that aspect. And I would do the same for him if he was sick. And we just help each other. We pick up our method, whatever we feel which helps us in our marriage, is when we come home and one of us have a bad day, we say, all right, what percentage are you feeling? And Grant might say, all right, well, I had a really bad day. I'm feeling like a 10%. Okay, well, I'll be your 90%. I'm going to go start dinner. Why don't you take a second and go sit on the couch, relax while you just got home from work, like take a second to debrief. I'll make dinner. I'll start everything, and then we can talk about it at dinner. So then just that, or even vice versa. Yeah. I come home and I have a bad day, or we might be 50-50, and that's the days that we order a pizza.
Yep.
And there's just days where we just don't cook, and that's reality because of how busy our lives are. But you just have to work together.
Exactly. And you know, that's the thing too, that we kind of, where did we get that idea from, the percentage
I think
thing?
we saw it on Instagram.
I think we saw it on Instagram or like
we didn't come up with it,
on a movie or something, but when we saw that, we were like, let's just try that in
like
our just daily lives.
But we don't use it all the time.
We don't use it all the time, but like,
because we're not
we'll
perfect.
generally understand where each other is at, you know what I mean? Like, we won't obviously walk up to each other and be like, are you 10%? Are you 90%? No, like we're able to just read the room and be like, okay, she's not having a good day.
Like, I can tell when I'm driving home from work with Grant, because right now we're sharing a car until we get our other car inspected. But
which now is fixed, thankfully,
because
I talked about how like the motor's like replaced, and thankfully, and that was my episode about thankfulness and gratitude, about the fact that like
my parents drove it down.
Yeah. Like how your parents just helped us a lot with that. And just the fact of like,
And your parents too, with their AAA and your mom doing that.
It was
for
a whole
us,
debacle, and like without family and without people
our
who care
church
about
people
you,
who care about
even
us very
church,
and
even
they're our
people at
family
church.
too.
Yep, and like that's the thing. Without people who care about you and without building that community, when you are up the crick, not just financially, just situationally, because it's not about finances at that point. It's about what do we do? Because we broke down in Western PA about 5 hours away from our apartment. So it's just like, what do you do in that situation?
When we had family nearby. If we didn't have family, that would have been even
nearby
worse,
in Western PA, thankfully. But that's just the thing. When it comes to community and when it comes to the people around you, if you're not willing to build that community, if you're not willing to actually put in the work and actually loving the people before you actually need the community, and like obviously family is like a community that you're born into, but it just goes to show that like whether or not you have tons of family that can help you or be supportive, or whether or not you have tons of friends, I think that you can either choose to go about this life alone, or you can actually reach out to people and you can actually build a community around you with like-minded individuals and with similar values. But with that episode about thankfulness and gratefulness, I think that we both learned a lot of different things about our own life and about each other, about the fact that we can either be super negative about our life and we can be super negative about our situation, or we can choose to, as I said, obviously trust God, I mean, as we do as Christians, or we can just strive and we can just be totally unhappy and discontent and bothered by every situation that comes against us.
Yeah, I feel the same way, because it's like, I know this isn't technically a Christian podcast, but I feel like, honestly, everything that we've went through and other things this year since January, personal things, we wouldn't have been able to get through it without God.
Yeah, absolutely. But as you were saying,
as I was saying before we went off on this little trail, we were saying about how we know each other and how we don't have to do the percentages sometimes because we just know each other. For example, like when Grant's driving home, we're driving home together from work, and I can just tell, like, if he doesn't talk a lot in the car or doesn't tell me about his day right away and he just like zones out, I can just tell like he either had a bad day or he wants to tell me something because something wasn't right. And I could just be like, all right, what happened? I can already just ask him.
Yeah. And I think that at least for us, and I think this is the hard part, and this is the I guess this is the sad part about a lot of people these days, a lot of people our age especially, and Generation Z especially, and even some millennials, is that people kind of view marriage and people kind of view their significant other as a transaction. They don't view their significant other as someone that loves them unconditionally. And so, and the reason I bring that up is the fact that I believe that a lot of the things that we go through, we're able to go through them together, and we don't easily get frustrated with each other because before we even like really dated seriously, we kind of built a friendship before everything.
We called it dating, but it was more.
We were dating technically.
We were more just technically friends, though.
Yeah,
we became best friends before we started like being serious, quote unquote.
Exactly. Yeah, we literally were best friends before we were like quote unquote serious.
Because I met you when I was
engaged.
16 and you were 17.
Yeah, like when we first met, you were 16, I was 17, and so like obviously like that's like unheard of. People like getting together in high school and actually getting married later in life or during college and stuff. That's like unheard of today. And like, there's so many people though who aren't willing to be honest with the significant other and not willing to hold on. Cause there's been many different times or many different thoughts that have come to both of our minds in different ways where there is doubts, where there is different things that come against ourselves. And obviously a part of it is just, us Christians believe that's just the enemy that comes against us in a lot of different ways. But one thing too is that we can't listen to the doubts in our mind when it comes to someone who loves us unconditionally. If we really believe someone loves us, like the way I believe that my wife loves me and the way I love her, then why should I try to hide things from her? And I'm not talking about like, when I say hide things, I'm not talking about like a secret addiction or something like that. I'm just talking about the fact that oftentimes we kind of close ourselves off. Yeah, we bury our feelings and we act like it doesn't matter, but almost every single thing matters when it comes to like, especially in marriage, it matters because everything that happens to you, they're going to experience on the other end of how you process that thing.
Because you kind of take it out on them in a way.
Yeah, exactly. You do. And the
even
thing
if you don't mean to or don't realize that you do.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's just the fact that like, are you going to be totally honest with the person you love? Or are you going to like kind of be at arm's distance. Because I think that's actually the problem with today's generation, in today's dating culture, is that so many young people our age even, they feel like that their emotions, like for instance, like not to be crass, but like they're so willing to just give up their virginity before they're even willing to talk about their feelings. And it's just, it's become a norm. It's become a norm to be like, okay, I'm going to go hook up with you. But as soon as it comes to sharing my feelings, I'm not like, that's too much. That's too intimate. And that's something to be said, because that means that all these people that kind of practice this hookup culture, they're kind of practicing this idea that there is no trust, and that trust doesn't exist. And that's the problem within today's dating culture and stuff. And I think that if you want a relationship that's built to last, and you want a relationship that's actually filled with love and with full understanding of each other, then you're going to have to trust, and you're going to have to love them unconditionally. Because guess what? Me and Gabby know each other's flaws. And at the end of the day, it's like you begin dating, you begin your relationship, and you don't see any flaws in them.
We're the best people in the whole entire world.
They're the best person in the world. But then guess what?
How could they do anything wrong ever?
Yeah, they could never do anything wrong. But then the third stage happens.
They don't fart, they don't do nothing. They're just the perfect person. They don't have boogers, they're nothing. They're not gross at all. You wouldn't
fart around me or eat around me a lot for the longest time because you thought it was embarrassing.
Yeah, I used to eat like a little bird.
Yeah. But it's just the fact that, like, once we entered the third stage, and this is the third stage of where dating, a lot of people like just give up, is when that you realize that person is not perfect, and people just give up. They're like, "Oh, you're not the person I envisioned." What kind of person were you envisioning?
And it was hard because we lived an hour away from each other. So
yeah, that's the other thing.
We both didn't have our license at the time, so we both had to rely on our parents to drive us. Or I had a license and I had a car, but Grant didn't have a car. So he had to rely on, hey, can I borrow your guys' car to go see Gabby? And sometimes the answer would be no. So just stuff like that would be hard. So it would just be phone calls that we'd have to have. And that was hard. But then I think the hard tester on our relationship.
In my opinion, I don't think that was hard. I think that it was hard going to college.
Yes,
because I went to college before you.
Yeah.
And thankfully you chose to go to the same college as I did. But it's just the fact that, like, through all of it, the only reason we were able to make it through from dating to high school to dating in college, getting engaged, and then finally married in our last 2 years of college
was being in college together.
That helped a lot, because I don't know.
Was at the Winter Arc podcast. That's like the main thing with this is everybody goes through not everybody, but some people go through seasonal depression.
Yeah.
And so it's hard in the winter when you don't have as much sunlight, you don't have as much things that you're doing. And so I know if Grant's okay with it, but he sometimes struggles, not all the time, it's gotten better, but he sometimes struggles with seasonal depression. And so I know at Valley Forge, when you're a college student and you're by yourself and you're not around family a lot and you don't have your own vehicle, it gets really hard. So like when I first came to college and I was a freshman and he was a sophomore, that was like the hardest year for him personally because of just all the things going on.
Exactly. Well, and that's funny that you mentioned that, because that was the point at which I was able, I mean, obviously I trusted you before. It wasn't that I didn't trust you before, but that was when I was able to fully trust and know that you loved me unconditionally, because you loved me at my worst. You loved me when I was the most depressed in my life. And not only that, but not to mention, but she made most of the money originally when we were like engaged and stuff, and she supported us through all of that right up until we got married, because I worked too. Yeah, I worked too, but the point was that she just was able to get more opportunities than me, and she was able to make more than me. And that isn't like a diss at me or anything like that.
We still put our money together at college. That's why when we got married, we were like, oh, well, it's so hard when we were, because I think even then we started to get bills. Yep. I think we got subscriptions or whatever, and we cash app each other, or our phone bills we put together, or something stupid.
Yeah,
or the car.
We would waste like things like $5 every transaction.
Yeah, and it was
like
just
that, because
dumb.
we weren't sharing a bank account.
No, so I think that's why the main reason why we got a bank account, because it's like, what's the point if we're gonna just put it into the same thing anyway?
Yeah, exactly. And so it just helped a lot. And the reality was that through that entire time, that's when I learned love, and that's when I learned sacrifice, and that's when I learned that no matter what, in that if you want a relationship, if you want marriage, if you just want that significant other to be with you forever, then you're going to have to be willing to actually make sacrifice work, because that's literally a part of the whole entire meaning of marriage. It's just sacrifice. It's not this lovey-dovey type thing. Yeah, sure. There's lovey-dovey emotions at the beginning and stuff like that. And even now,
and
like, we're still in love.
only 3 years into marriage, so we're not like these.
Yeah, we're not like
we're into 40 years of marriage, and me and Grant are experts over here, and we're telling everybody how to run their relationship. We're not like that. We're just saying how like ours works.
And honestly, we don't even give people advice.
No,
but I just
because
thought
we don't have anybody to give advice to.
Yeah, true. People don't ask, and fair enough. But
maybe once some of our friends that are single, once they get
maybe they'll ask us for advice and stuff. But I think that's the thing. Like, you should get to the point, because like as the Bible says, as again, you know, this isn't a Christian podcast per se, but there's a lot of elements of Christianity in it, because
that's what
it's
we
a part
believe.
of my life and it's part of our life. So of course, the way we view motivation, productivity, and just our relationship dynamic is going to be rooted in the Bible and rooted in who we are in Christ.
Because that's literally the foundation of our marriage. It's how the Bible talks about when two people are together, they have to be equally yoked. If Grant wasn't a believer and I was a believer, we probably wouldn't be married, because it'd be a very, very hard relationship to have, because I would be going to church and he'd be staying at home. How would I want to be encouraged to go to church every Sunday when my husband's at home, or vice versa? So it's like that, be equally yoked and to be in the same Bible believing church that we go to has just been phenomenal in our marriage, because it's the foundation of what brings us together. It's just like when we said our vows when we got married, they have different things. We did the unity candle, but other people did like the strand of 3 cords, and how the middle cord is God and the other 2 are you and your relationship, and you're braided around God, because God should be the center of your marriage. And I feel like that's like the only key that's helped me and Grant with our marriage, and any relation, like with our relationship that we've had, is that God is the center of our marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I wanted to also mention, like in the Bible, for instance, it talks about the fact that when 2 people get married and 2 people come together, they become one flesh. And when that happens, there's a lot of different things. Their emotions become yours. Their scars become yours. Their
baggage.
everything becomes yours. And I want to preface this, because this is the other thing that creeps into other people's relationships, is selfishness. Is the fact, like for instance, today, I'll just share this example. It's a stupid example, but it's a good example. I was on Facebook Market and just like looking up different cars and stuff like that. And like in the back of my mind, and like the thing is, again, I'm thankful for the cars we have. I'm not complaining at all. But the car that I drive is a very mom car. Yeah. Very mom type car.
It's a gold GMC 2013 Terrain.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, it isn't like the most spectacular car to drive around,
but it's a
right?
car. And not everybody has 2 cars.
And not everybody has a car, exactly.
Or 2 cars.
Because
we suffered for how long?
Yeah, we suffered this whole summer with that.
So now we really can't complain.
Yeah. But the thing is that this afternoon I was looking at all these things, and I said to my wife, and I'm thinking in my head too, like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool to trade in the car and get a Dodge Charger. Wouldn't that be so cool? But the reality
so that'd be a great family car for the baby, and it'd be so great to have our baby, brand new baby, go home in a Dodge Charger.
Baby would be riding in style. That's the thing, you know.
For sure.
But the thing is, I mean, granted, I wouldn't even be able to afford a Dodge Charger, but let's just be honest with that. But the other thing is too, is that the problem is, though, is that even though I was just speculating, kind of just talking about it, because, like, you know, I love Dodge Chargers and just like other like cars similar to that, like the Ford Mustang and stuff. But the thing is that I could either be, and this is the sad part, some marriages fall apart with this. I could either be selfish for myself and think that I deserve XYZ because I work so hard, or I do this, and let my pride get in the way. Or I can realize, you know what? Do I really need it? No, I don't. Like, I could be selfish and go and be like, 2 cars
that we poured so much money into.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So much money. Like, if I could have a dollar amount, I would tell you. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we are keeping those cars until they will no longer run anymore.
Basically.
And then
the sad part is that they all kind of broke down under 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest part.
Yeah.
But the thing is
that
hopefully
we go into 300,000.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that returning to the 2 becoming one flesh thing is that, like, our decisions are both of our decisions. Like, if we would get a new car it would have to be fully both of our decisions, like last year. And unfortunately, we all know how that ended. But thankfully, it has a new engine, so that's the only good thing.
And it was our decision together to get a new motor.
Yay! But it's just the fact that, like, I could either be selfish and view my life as an individual still, and be really, really selfish and be really, really prideful of like, well, I deserve certain things, Gabby, and you should realize that. And it's okay.
Yeah, I could be like that and be like, I'm gonna come home with 3 more cats, Grant, and you're just gonna deal with it.
Oh no, I wouldn't deal with that. That would be on a whole other level.
But I love that so much.
We have 2 cats, by the way, guys. We have one called Gracie, that she's like 3 years old now, and then one called Abby, and she's 2 years old.
And hopefully more to come.
And hopefully, well, in the future. I'm not going to get any more cats right now. Anyway.
But if I had to be selfish, that's what I would go do.
You would go get cats. Okay.
I would
okay. I'm glad that we have our motivations.
You'll get a Dodge Charger, and I will get 2 or 3 more cats. And we'll both be happy, and we'll just leave each other alone.
Be happy. Hey, maybe that's something I can make a deal with you on. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because sadly, many people let selfishness just like rule over their desire for a relationship over everything. But
so did you have any more questions that you only answered? My one question is for you, Gabby. So I didn't know if you had any more, because that one question ended up being like a 20-minute convo.
No, literally. I would say the other thing would be the one thing that we've actually talked about now and then, right? Of the fact that like how I mentioned at the very beginning, how like I have a mind that's very geared towards like I have a desire to create stuff. And then meanwhile, you may not, but you do help me with it. And stuff
I know
like that.
I do, because I support you and love you.
Yeah, but you have no desire to create your own stuff.
No, I'm just boring.
You're not boring.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I want you to talk to that and talk about maybe your personality, just like as you. Because so many times people kind of get into this rut of like, oh, I have to grind hard. I have to become an entrepreneur. I have to do this because this is what everyone else is on social media is doing. But the thing I'm learning slowly is that I don't have to strive to become XYZ or this creator or that creator because I'm not them. You know what I mean? And so I just talk to the idea of, because like it's kind of cool though, because like for me it's harder just because like I'm like, oh, I want to create, so I have this intrinsic mindset to want to actually like create stuff, maybe build a business in the future, stuff like that. But for someone like you, not everyone wants to be a business owner, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. So kind of like talk about that and kind of shed light on why that's a good thing, because like I don't think that everyone's built the same way, and I think that's okay.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind opening up. You and I've talked before about opening up a coffee shop.
Yeah, but that's just for the aesthetic reasons.
Yeah, because we both discovered that we don't actually like to make the coffee now.
Actually, and so during college, we would make coffee at a coffee shop.
Yeah, and that was different. I don't know why.
But now we kind of hate making coffee, so we don't drink a lot of coffee anymore.
So long. Well, I don't drink any coffee.
Well, last Christmas, you got me an espresso machine.
Yeah, I was so excited about it.
We used it all through the winter. And then summer came, we never used it.
Yeah.
And then we just realized that we just hated making the coffee.
So the person on Facebook Market, if you're listening, hope you like our.
I hope you like the coffee.
hope
you're
using
like
it more than we did, because we never used it.
Yeah, exactly. But by the way, this Christmas I don't want anything. I just want gift cards.
Yeah, honestly. But no, I feel like it's not that I'm not creative. I have creative ideas that I give you for different projects that you do. But
oh yeah, she's actually pretty good at them.
If I get into the right mindset.
She just doesn't like desire to make them. She's just like, oh, I have an idea. This is what you should make someday.
Yeah. No, but I don't know. I'm happy just I'm like the everyday person that like is a factory worker, but I'm like at my job where I'm happy just going every day and doing the do and working hard and coming home.
You work at the factory now. She does not work at a factory.
I work at a daycare. I'm the assistant director. But it's like, but like I'm happy just doing the do and coming home every day. And I mean, sometimes I don't want to make dinner, and we talked about that. But I would say like just being normal and just doing that stuff's okay too. And just finding hobbies in other ways. Like I'm still trying to find a hobby. I don't have a hobby currently. So
if you guys have an idea, just
I've tried
DM
embroidery.
Gabby, especially if you know us, because so far a lot of people who are probably listening know us. DM Gabby and just tell her ideas for hobbies.
I've tried embroidery. It was a flop.
No, you didn't practice. That's why. You just need to practice, and then you would like it.
It looks
That's
so
the thing.
difficult. Anyways.
It's not that difficult. I mean, I could figure it out eventually if I
Yeah,
practice.
don't
But that's
know.
the thing. You need to
I
practice.
think that's the
then.
only thing I try.
Really? Well, we take walks. That's a hobby.
Sure.
I've always been.
I pet my cats, and
There you
I don't
go.
read books that much anymore.
You're a
either.
cat mom.
Yep.
The thing that I wanted to say too was the fact that I was on X the other day talking to people because I've been trying to build up like a social presence on X because I haven't had the time to make regular social videos and stuff like that for this podcast. But I was replying to this one guy and he said, you know what the future is? 8 billion entrepreneurs running the world. But the problem with that is,
But then what about the everyday people?
yeah, what about the people? Because this is
What-
literally what I said.
What are you gonna do about what about the people that need daycare?
Yeah, like you. Like, we wouldn't have daycares if everyone was an entrepreneur. What are the kids going to do? We start making social media videos or something?
Their parents are gonna put them.
Yeah,
to
like
work.
what's going to happen to all the teachers? What's going to happen to all the other people? But that's the thing, though. Like, entrepreneurs wouldn't exist and business owners wouldn't exist if the people making the materials weren't there. If the because that's what I literally said to them. And it's funny that you mentioned factory workers earlier, because I
don't know,
literally
it's just the first
said to
thing.
him, "Well, how are you supposed to order raw materials if there's no one there to make the raw materials for your business?"
Literally,
Like, it's just stupidity.
or
to
like
think,
your dad screwing on light bulbs in the places.
yeah, exactly.
like how-
You make it sound like that's his only job.
Sorry,
He just screws in light bulbs. That's it. That's actually a pretty easy job. I would take that
but he
job.
does do that.
He inspects the things, the houses before they go
Oh,
out.
we'll see if then their houses wouldn't be ready to live in if he didn't inspect them.
True, exactly. But it's just the fact, like, and that's the reason why I asked you on your mindset, because, like, you know, even though it's viewed as simple, it's actually very
Boring
Inspirational.
sometimes, honestly. If I'm being honest,
you're bored.
No, I'm not bored with myself.
Oh,
I feel bored when I talk to people. Like I used to feel bad. I don't anymore. Like
Yeah.
I used to feel bad when we'd have a conversation with somebody. Oh, hi, nice to meet you, Grant. What do you do? Oh, I'm a videographer and I do this and blah blah blah. Oh wow, that's so cool. Gabby, what do you do? Oh, I'm in education. Oh, okay. So Grant, tell me more about. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, just a
That's all.
teacher.
I feel like that's only because people don't know a lot of people who work in TV.
Yeah, so you're super cool. You're like a celebrity.
See, yeah, that's pretty cool. No, I'm definitely not a celebrity.
FISM.
But no, I think that's just the fact though, because like I just want to talk about that a little bit. Well, I want to talk about that with you because we've had this conversation now and then.
Yeah, because I'm happy. I'm satisfied with life. I don't ever feel bad about it. I just live my life. Just, do the do.
Just doing the
I really,
and that's okay.
I'm fine with it. I'm happy. Sometimes I watch a TV show
plus
here and there
too,
while you're
like
doing your stuff.
productivity doesn't always have to mean like I'm a social media star and I do
I don't
this
have
and
any
that.
desire to do that either.
Yeah, no, like
I color in my coloring books.
and like for your personal life too, like obviously, our marriage is like one of the things that you are motivated with to be productive in, right? But what other areas of productivity do you try to like nurture and stuff like that just in your daily life? Because like, as I said, like when we think of productivity, we automatically think of an entrepreneur or something, but productivity can also be in the form of just getting into good habits every single day. And so like, what would be some of those things that you would practice every day? I
Like
mean,
my
I know them,
habits.
but what?
I would say my favorite thing to do is to be kind, as dumb as that sounds.
No, it's not dumb.
Oh, well, thanks, Grant. I needed validation. No, like I feel like the hardest part, especially with living far away, is from family, is not being there for everything. And I feel like it's hard because he has 2 younger sisters, so they're into sports or into dance or into all sorts of things. And like not being able to make it to everything is the hardest part, I think, about living so far away, because you want to be able to make it to every event. And it's hard. So I feel like with that aspect, with it's not like a hobby. It's one of my main things I try to focus on when I write out my calendars is everybody's birthday, because I mean, even people might hate their birthday, but I just find it, or even anniversaries, but I just try to have it where anybody, like my mom, my dad, Grant's parents, his siblings, our sister-in-law, anything, I just want to make sure that I make their birthday very special, even if we don't live that close, because I feel like I try to look at every situation, even when I give gifts to random people, because I'm a gift giver. It's one of my favorite things I like to do. I like to give rather than receive. I mean, receiving is pretty fun too, but I would rather give. I love Christmas because I like seeing what everybody gets.
It's like one of your main love languages.
Yeah, because I love giving gifts at Christmas time. Grant has to give me a budget, and I still go over. But I just
Pray
like
for me
to.
this Christmas season.
I just like to do stuff like that. But like when it's people's birthdays, I just feel I look at it as aspect as what would I want? What would make my birthday super special? And I try to do that for that person and what they would like, obviously, like their likes, but turned into that because. Yeah. I feel like sending a card on their birthday. Sometimes with our mail system, it sends out really, really late. But trying to send a gift card of their favorite restaurant or favorite place they like to go, just to let them know that we're thinking of them, even if we're 4 hours away.
Yeah, and I think too, because like that's another good thing that she's good at. Because if it were up
he
to
would
me,
never remember
I would never
anybody's
send things
birthday
because I would forget. And that's not because I don't love anyone. That's just because I'm oblivious to it.
And I
but
was
she's
like,
very
Grant.
giving, and I've learned how to be more giving and charitable in general because of her. But at the end of the day, I just kind of wanted to close this out with the idea and with the kind of
You
like...
hear that, everybody? He's cutting me off. He said, Gabby, stop talking.
No, that's not the reason. But I kind of wanted to give everyone the kind of like challenge to kind of look within yourself and kind of ask yourself, okay, when it comes to my personal life, how am I being productive? Whether it be like just through charity, through giving, through just how you care for people in your family or your community, or simply what you do on a daily basis with good habits. And maybe your productivity is found in right now, maybe in your season of your life, maybe you're just trying to break bad habits. Maybe you're just trying to like take care of yourself more or whatever. Maybe you've went through a season of your life where you've just struggled a lot, and that's okay. Productivity isn't supposed to be this like toxic productivity mindset of, oh, you gotta start making millions of dollars and become the alpha
I'm trying
male.
to drink more water. That's
Yeah, see, that's a good goal. That's a good habit. But, and actually, ironically, that's actually what I'm going to be talking about.
Is drinking more water?
No,
Oh.
I'm not drinking more water. I'm not drinking anything. And I'm confused. Tomorrow for the weekly podcast, I'm going to be talking about the difference between productivity and toxic productivity. Because like so often there's like entrepreneurs out there that kind of have this mindset of don't sleep, work 24/7. It's like,
yeah, you
idiotic.
tried that, huh? How's that work for you?
It's terrible, but
Yeah, tell them how red your eyes get. And
yeah, no, I look awful. I look like I'm high when I like try to stay up and work past 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
and then
awful.
Then he gets up. I'm so tired.
I wonder why. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you guys kind of learn something new about just like relationship dynamics and what that kind of looks like in your daily life, and just how that can fit into the definition of productivity, of just contributing towards a relationship that is centered in just sacrificial love and just trust. But I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope you guys tune in for tomorrow's main podcast, because every week is obviously the main video podcast version, because all of these are just journal entries and stuff. I hope to make the Sunday interviews like video eventually, but I don't want to make them video right away. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you tomorrow, and it will be about toxic productivity versus just like healthy productivity, I guess you could say. But thank you guys so much for listening. This has been September the 7th, Journal Entry 6.